Yeah, I can see how, I guess going back to that point of being fit would have been reaffirmed through that friendship when you have someone like that thinks the same.
Yeah, for sure.
And I mean, you guys, I guess in the years that you've had with Steph now, I was just curious as to what have you learned from her? What do you respect about her in particular?
Oh, so Steph is someone who is always happy for others, which I think is very, very rare, especially.
It's hard to do.
Especially in this industry. She is honestly, back when she used to go to a casting, because you'd kind of be in competition with other brunettes I wasn't really because I never got any work, but for Steph, she got a lot of work. So there was like 3, it's always the same. There's like 3 brunette girls that work really well in Melbourne and 3 blonde girls, and they get most of the work. And so if Steph went to a casting and another blonde girl got it, she would be so happy for her, like just as happy as if she got it. And I thought that was a really great trait to have, because not a lot of people have that. And she's also really, really sure of who she is. And she's helped me so much with processing criticism, especially when I ever question what I'm doing. She'll just be like, this is who you are. This is what you stand for. This is why. So what on earth do you care about what this one person is saying? Uh-huh. And she's always been, I think when I see, like I look up to Steph a lot, and when I see her being so okay with and I mean, Steph has like 4 times more followers than me, so she gets 4 times more criticism because it's just the way it works. Mm. And so the way that she can deal with it is so cool, because she's just like, nah, I know who I am. I'm not going to change doing this because I like doing this. And this is a part of who I am because you don't like it.
So, and I can see how that would have helped through business as well, because a lot of the game of business is being slightly disagreeable. Like you got to push back on people a lot.
Definitely, and that Steph has been. I would like to say I'm not a pushover anymore, but I reckon that has been a slow process, and it's not that. Like it was Steph ever did that to me. It was that she taught me how to not be a pushover and stand my ground, because she does that. And so I looked up to her, and I still do.
Yeah.
And said, okay, well, yeah, I can do that too.
Well, I think it's, in those notes you gave to me about Dalton is learning to be, and we spoke about that in the interview, learning to be more confident, and indirectly through him as well. And I think it's not about like being a pushover. I know my partner said the same thing to me. Like she's felt that in the past, maybe when she was a bit younger, that she could be a bit of, like nasty friends, or whereas I would just say, no, fuck those people, because that's just my personality trait. But that's, I guess, that's the good thing about a good friend, right?
Yes,
or a good relationship.
And she's she's probably one of the only, there's only a very small amount of people in my life that I trust with everything, and I trust that will always have my best interests at heart, because I feel like it's really hard, especially when we've been so lucky and our success has grown quite quickly. There's a lot of people that will not be happy for you and won't actually want the best for you, but Steph is one of the very few people in my life that wants the best for me, which is, it's very, very nice to have that, because otherwise you feel like super isolated.
And it would be tough, because I mean, in the space that you're in, people would potentially look to latch on. You could get those types. So I totally understand that.
And you don't, that's the thing, you don't really know. I mean, you can judge someone's character, and Steph's really good at that. But you just have to, I think I've come to a point where I know sometimes if someone does something really, this is one thing actually that Steph's really good at, and I'm not, I'm a grudge holder. If someone does something, I will be so giving, and I want to give to everyone. But if I give to someone, and I go out of my way to help them, and then they throw it back in my face, that's one thing I can't overcome. It's something that I've always struggled with, and I need to just take a deep breath and get over it. But that's one thing. And I think as you become an adult, you don't have time for as many people in your life as you used to.
Yeah, particularly you right now. You and her, I've heard about your schedules.
They're not that bad. They're fine.
They're pretty
it's
bad.
Good. We were lucky that we get to do what we love. But I think that's one thing that Steph's quite forgiving, but it is hard to work out who is. We have the conversation all the time, like, is this person used? But I just think what we do is we just look for the best in everyone, and then if they do let us down, we're like, oh, that's okay. Like a lot of people have. So especially in the industry, you just don't. If you lower your expectations a little bit,
you sort of come to expect it.
Yeah.
Now, with the anxiety, I found this interesting. I can't remember where it was mentioned, but it was there. I found it somewhere in osmosis. And because I'd had anxiety myself, I was intrigued as to how it's helped you. Because one of the things you mentioned in possibly your notes was that you guys need to shut off at the door. Like you don't bring work home, and you've sort of learned to do all that sort of stuff.
We try not to. We do.
Try being the key word.
We try. No, I think Dalton and I couldn't run a business together because I think we already, at the moment anyway, because we already cross the line so much at home with work. I can't imagine having to continue to talk about it.
Yeah. But I feel like you would have learnt through this process and potentially having anxiety about when you're going to blow a gasket.
Yes.
And that you need to
for sure
shut off.
For me, it's usually a day on the weekend that I need, and I have to. And it's not even because sometimes, unfortunately, Steph and I, and this is something that we've just had to come to terms with. Like, I think coming up from. Not this weekend, but then again, Steph has an event for her sunglass company, Soda, this weekend. So she's got something this weekend, but I don't. And so then from for her this week and from me next week, I think we've got every single weekend has an event or something for the next 3 months, and that's okay because we've accepted them and that helps grow our business. So we're totally okay with that, but. I know if after, I think if I get, sometimes if it's 4 or 5 weeks without a weekend or like even just one day or just a switch off time, everything builds up and then it gets me.
Yeah. Yeah, I've got the same thing. It's, I actually, for the first time in my life, I took this whole Easter Anzac weekend off.
That's great.
But I just worked the entire time.
Yeah.
I split my time between 2 different companies, so it's just allowed me to take time off one.
Yes.
But it makes such a massive difference.
For sure. And you have to do it every now and then. And
I don't realise that often.
Yeah, but you have to. And I think that's something that Steph is so amazing at, because she will tell me, like, one day when it was really bad, she messaged me and she said, okay, you need to go and download all the Disney movies and sit in the couch and watch all of them. And so it's nice knowing that if one of us feels overwhelmed, I feel totally comfortable messaging Steph and saying, hey, I can't come in today. And I would hope that she'd feel the same.
Yeah.
I need this day to myself. Because if you don't take it, then you're not going to be good for the work, for the business for the next week, because you're going to be recovering from it. So
yeah, you'll be completely cooked. It just won't help anyone.
Exactly.
What's your go-to Disney movie of choice? Like if you had to choose one.
Oh, I don't know if is it even a Disney? I like The Lion King. That's a nice movie. Is that even Disney?
Yeah. I'm pretty sure it is. I hope so.
Steph's an expert. I hope so, otherwise she'll be mad.